Welcome to Lay It Out, the podcast where we explore the intricate relationships between mind and body. I'm Marshall Saintholtz, and I'm joined by Paulo Martinez.
Hey guys.
As we dive into one of the most important topics in health today, the deep connection between mental and physical health. This episode is called Exploring Mental Clarity.
Thanks for joining us today, listeners. While we often hear about the connection between mental and physical health, understanding these relationships can be challenging, especially with the internet spewing so much information. So today we're going to break it all down. Why mental health is just as important as physical health and how they're interconnected. Let's get started.
I'm really excited for this episode because this is such a relevant topic. I know a lot of people tend to separate mental and physical health, but they're actually so deeply intertwined. We've all heard the phrase healthy mind, healthy body, but it's more than just a slogan. It's science.
Thanks for... Oh my...
You go.
In an article by Wendy... Wait. You know what? You're right. You know what? You're right, Marshall. In an article by Wendy Weiser, the links of mental and physical health are discussed. When we face mental health challenges, it's really important to incorporate movement, including exercise in your routine, and this can really uplift your mood.
Yeah, and this is because when you exercise, endorphins are released from your brain, which are natural chemicals that relieve stress and boost happiness. These releases have been shown to occur at any level of exercise, including small ones like walking and stretching, all the way up to difficult physical routines.
You know what, Marshall? That makes a lot of sense because I do definitely notice similar changes when I work out, especially after my wrestling matches. I feel more relaxed and I definitely feel more fulfilled.
For sure. And it seems like science agrees. In a 2017 article, Shush FMD and several other doctors describe how in a study of 260,000 people who exercised versus those who did not, the people who did were significantly less likely to develop depression, and in another study of 69,000 people by the same doctors, those who exercised frequently had reduced levels of stress and anxiety.
We've been speaking a lot about how physical health can alter the mental health state, but what about the other way around? Can mental health affect physical health?
You know what? It can, or at least according to Jennifer Robinson. In her reviewed article on WebMD, she spoke of how big the role of mental health is on your physical health.
Marshall, that's right. Because according to the article, studies have overwhelmingly shown that good mental health leads to reduced risk of heart attack and stroke. Depression has also been linked to many chronic illnesses, including diabetes, asthma, cancer, cardiovascular disease, and arthritis. When our mental health is poor, our blood pressure rises as well as muscle tension throughout our body. These changes can lead to strain on our organs like our heart and brain. It also seems to be like a downward spiral with these disorders and illnesses. Physical illnesses often leads to increased stress and fatigue, which also correlates to sleep according to the Cleveland Clinic, and we'll be talking more about that later. When stress is increased, it can lead to higher rates of depression and anxiety, which we've already discussed create vulnerability to illnesses. So the spiral often keeps on continuing.
And although this might sound scary, it can often be broken by one crucial part of our well-being: sleep. That's right. The value of a good night's sleep is often shrugged off and undervalued. In fact, 50 to 70 million Americans across the country suffer from sleep deprivation, and only 15% of Americans in school or work reach their minimum recommended sleep duration. The National Library of Medicine says this is 9 to 11 hours for adolescents and 7 to 9 hours for adults. On the page of the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, they share the value of rest. Studies show that a good night's sleep improves learning and problem-solving skills. Sleep also helps you pay attention, make decisions, and be creative. On top of all these benefits, it also contributes to the release of chemicals and endorphins in your body, as well as the reduction of anxiety and depression as a result. Also, in a 2004 study by Tahiri MD on the effects of sleep, he showed that reduced sleep can increase aging and have really negative effects on the health of your skin and muscle recovery.
My bad, Marshall. I was sleeping. But another area that can affect mental and physical health is nutrition. In articles by the WHO, CDC, and the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, nutrition can indicate hormone regulation and cognitive performance. Also, eating healthy can lead to better sleep, and endocrine health and reduction of heart issues, anxiety, and depression. Also, eating high amounts of processed foods are proven to have negative effects on mental and physical health because of their high amounts of sodium, sugar, and fat.
Yeah, that's right. The CDC also says that packaged foods and meats can have high exposure to plastics and chemicals, which may cause high blood pressure, cancer, and thyroid issues, all of which control hormones and contribute to overall mental health.
And Marshall, looking back at mental health, I know that many complain about the pressures of school and the stress caused by many classes, like this academic workload we're always forced to have. So I know there's some wondering, what are sources say about the connections between mental health and school?
That's a great tie, Paulo. Because, being a student, I also experience a lot of stress at times, mostly because of my schoolwork. According to the Mountain Heights Academy page, one of the biggest pressures in school is for students to excel academically. In general, there's an expectation within our society and from parents to push ourselves in school nonstop. But this isn't always healthy, as this weight can lead to high stress and burnout.
Yes, Marshall, and on top of this, school isn't just about academics. It's also a place where social structures are navigated through a very formative time. Peer pressures, bullying, and feeling left out can create loneliness and anxiety, particularly because of the higher social anxiety common among younger people. These causes of stress can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms like substance abuse, self-harm, and eating disorders. It's important for students to have support and ways to deal with the pressures they might not be suited to handle on their own.
Well, I know for me a great help is having a friendly teacher to turn to, as well as the previously mentioned points like sleep, nutrition, and exercise.
Just like Miss Henry, she's my goat.
Facts. But hold on one second, Paulo. We have a real quick word from the sponsor of this episode.
Oh, I forgot. Here's a quick clip from the Anti-Vaping Society.
Vaping is terrible. I was addicted so bad for like a year. I was vaping outside.
Wait, Marcella, is that a vape?
What? No!
I was vaping while I was playing the violin. I even vaped while I was going to the bathroom. It was so bad. Vaping put stress on my relationships and on my lungs. Don't vape.
Paulina, the bus is leaving.
Oh my god! Oh my god.
Yeah.
Vaping puts strains on me and the team.
Hey!
Last time, I swear. So I never stopped vaping, and now I'm hooked on other stuff like cocaine. And I don't think I'm gonna get better, and now I'm getting arrested. Who you looking at, bruh? We vaping now, and mental health is like doo-doo. And I'm saying shit.
This message has been brought to you by the Anti-Vaping Society. Don't vape or it'll screw up your mental health.
Wow, what do you think about that, Marshall?
I mean, come on. What a great foundation. Guiding our youth away from unhealthy habits.
I really agree. And I think it really spreads awareness towards the effects that vaping has on the health of youths.
I'm sorry, did you say youths?
Oh my bad. The health of youths.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right. According to the Newport Institute, research shows that vaping is harmful to mental health as well as physical health. New studies show the links between vaping and mental health conditions include depression, anxiety, psychosis, as well as eating disorders, which is really terrible for your physical health.
Wow, Marshall, that's so true. And considering the fact that it's so common amongst younger people means it's just one more cause of connected mental and physical health issues.
We'd also like to point out how certain mental health conditions can correlate to someone's class, race, and gender.
For example, the racial discrimination that many minorities are subject to causes poor mental health and a lot of the time harmful coping mechanisms that make you feel good short term, but long term it damages your mental and physical health. Every race is a victim to poor mental health, but the oppression makes minorities like African Americans, Native Americans, and Chicanos more prone to it.
And I'd like to point out how these mental health disparities usually stem from resources being less accessible for these people. The cultural stigma about seeking help for your mental health and just a lack of overall awareness can cause these problems. By any chance, do you know what race has the highest rates of mental health problems?
I do actually. Native Americans and Alaska Natives tend to have a disproportionately greater rate of mental health problems that likely comes from the trauma and generational abuse that's been placed amongst these people throughout history, like colonization, separation of families, mass murders, and boarding schools used to dehumanize their people. And all these things play a role in some of the poor mental health that was developed in this community. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm actually 25% Native American. and I recently began noticing that intergenerational trauma is a real thing. Like, I feel the suffering, anger, sadness, and depression from my Native American and indigenous ancestors.
Wow, that's super interesting. Sorry to hear that. This research is by a psychiatrist named Gina Ryder, and she states that the heritability of PTSD is between 30 and 70%, demonstrating that even some aspects of PTSD could be inherited. Furthermore, going back to what you said about how generational discrimination is what negatively impacted many Native Americans' mental health, it could also be one of the reasons why poor mental health is an issue in other minority groups like African Americans and Hispanic people.
That's super interesting. And I'd like to add that Mind.uk states that women are more prone to anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress-related disorders because of the discrimination women face throughout history, like sexism.
Additionally, this clinic pointed out that men are more likely to struggle with addiction because of the social pressures they are faced with, and the lack of knowledge on how to cope with their mental problems. So often they resort to short-term fixes like alcohol and drugs.
And according to McLean Hospital, more men have died by suicide, but more women have attempted to commit suicide.
That's terrible. It seems like everyone is affected by mental illness, and it appears in many different ways.
Well, I like your point. That wraps up today's discussion on the powerful link between mental and physical health. We've covered a lot of ground, from how exercise can boost our mood through the release of endorphins to the role of mental health in influencing our physical well-being. Like how chronic stress and poor mental health can increase the risk of heart disease and other serious conditions.
Absolutely. And let's not forget how critical sleep and nutrition are in all of this. A good night's sleep supports both our mental and physical health, and eating well-balanced meals can regulate hormones, boost our cognitive performance, and even help manage stress. All of these elements, when balanced, can create a truly positive cycle for our overall health.
Exactly. It's clear that mental and physical health aren't separate entities. They're deeply interconnected. So remember, taking care of your mind means taking care of your body, and vice versa.
And that's the key takeaway for today. Mind and body are a team, and nurturing both is the foundation for a healthier life. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Lay It Out. We hope you are feeling a little more informed and motivated to prioritize both your mental and physical health.
Absolutely. Be sure to join us next time as we continue to explore ways to improve well-being one step at a time.
Take care.